The great moment was soon to arrive. When God communicated with Moses at the burning bush for the first time, God told Moses that after you leave Egypt, you're going to come back to this mountain and serve me together with the entire people. Of course, that refers to the receiving of the Torah, the great moment of revelation on Mount Sinai. When the Torah records the encampment, the Torah says, Vayichan Sham Yisrael. Israel encamped. And all of the commentaries look at the verb that Israel encamped and notice that it is written in singular. Now, meaning he encamped or it encamped. But really, we're talking about the whole Jewish people. And it should have said, they encamped. And the great commentary Rashi and other commentaries explain that the Torah specifically is telling us in the singular, he encamped, indicating that the entire Jewish people was purely and totally united. Brotherhood, sisterhood, Keish Echad, one person, Belev Echad, one heart. Rabbi Yecheskel Levenstein asks a question. We find, in last week's portion, we find that there was strife and complaining, and apparently there was a lack of peace between us. So what happened? All of a sudden, what happened? How did we change from a situation of difficulty and strife between us to a situation of pure, total brotherhood love? And Rabbi Cheskel Levenstein explains that what happens, you see this, you see at a wedding, and everybody comes to the wedding. Everybody's focused on the wedding. And then character issues seem very much to fade away. At a funeral also, everyone is focused on the same thing. So there is an element of unity. And character flaws seem to fall away. So the message here is that because the entire Jewish people realized the greatness of the moment, and we are receiving the Torah from God, the awesome moment, and everyone was part of that same moment, so that brought us all together, and strife and the difficulties between us faded away. So Rabbi Cheskel Levenstein points out that this is a beautiful lesson. The Torah, it tells us in Shema, it says, these words that I command you today. And the commentaries explain, why does God say these words that I command you today? Because every day you're supposed to feel, I am receiving the Torah today. And of course what it means, it's excitement, and I'm connecting to God, and God is teaching me the Torah, and what a beautiful gift, and the excitement of that gift should never fade. Every day I need to feel, today is the day of Mount Sinai, today's the day I'm receiving the Torah. So what we learn from this episode, that the Torah is telling us that they were totally united when our ancestors, when receiving the Torah, and because united in this common experience. So the idea of every day is the day that I am receiving the Torah should also not only connect us to the words of the Torah, not only connect us to God, but remind us that we're all together and we all have a common cause and a common goal. And it must remind us then of our unity, of our oneness. So in that way, when we are remembering the freshness It'll bring us closer to God, and also then closer to one another, because we're sharing in the same event. We're sharing in the same simcha, sharing in the same joy. So may God help us that we can feel the joy of receiving the Torah every single day. And in that way, may issues between us fall away, and may we remain and grow ever closer to one another. Have a fabulous Shabbos.